So
Thank you
this
so
is
much.
such an incredible movie. I mean, there's depth to it, there's heart to it, there's confusion, there's love. I think at the heart of it, though, were you always in mind to star as Mags?
Yes. Oh my God, I wrote this for myself. Yes. I mean, it's a personal story too. So
Yeah, I know. I know it's near and dear to your heart. I just wasn't sure if you were, always focused on putting yourself in the movie as well.
yeah, I think that a big part I truly believe that, Hollywood is such a tough place and there's so much kind of waiting for the opportunity, waiting for someone to give you permission, waiting to, and I just feel like so much of what I have done in my career that I truly believe in is kind of empowering yourself and writing yourself into the stuff that you feel matters to you because no one, it not no one, but it's hard for someone to give it to you, right? And so I'm a big believer in giving it to yourself.
Ritesh, I'm sorry, but there's a lot of chemistry between Angela and Mags. I mean, and I feel like Ash is sort of a third wheel in
Well,
the potential thing. What was your thoughts when you read about, how he would fit in to
yeah,
Mags is questioning herself at this point.
ultimately, the inception of the story, I don't think happens unless Mags and Ash kind of come into conflict, right? I think it's their disconnect that takes Mags and has her kind of like look at another direction, which I think happens a lot in real life with many couples that maybe don't communicate with each other, right? But in terms of, for me, when I was reading the script, I just found it to be so fascinating and interesting to sort of have the opportunity to play this type of character that sort of goes through the ebbs and flows and the ups and downs. And, I'm sure a lot of straight men fantasize about threesomes with their partners. Um, so it's not something that, I think something Ash was both excited about and probably nervous about. And obviously, you should see the movie to see how it all turns out on Valentine's Day weekend.
Selena, was there a chemistry read between you and Sydney, or even you and Ritesh and Sydney to flesh that out? Because y'all be smoldering.
Thank you. Well, actually, more than a chemistry read, it was a lot of dinners and coffees and conversations. I actually was a casting director for 10 years, which is really funny because I kind of came to LA wanting to be an actor. And then I had this little La La Land moment where I looked around and I was like, everyone's been doing it for longer than me. They look better than me so I'm just going to kind of cut myself out of the equation and I'm going to focus on being a producer because I'm organized and I'm good with people. And so I focused on that. I started doing a lot of casting. I became a casting director for 10 years. And then I had this kind of like epiphany moment where I was like, now that I've been doing this for so long, I know how to raise money. I know how to write a story. I know how to produce it and I know how to cast it. What about me? Maybe I should put myself in there. And so, but I truly believe in kind of the vibe and the energy of people coming together. And I totally love doing chemistry reads, but I think we were just so lucky with this cast that it wasn't even necessary. It was like we met and we chatted and we could really get on the same page and feel really safe with each other. And I think that's just so important for all of these dynamics to feel real and authentic, which is what really mattered to us making this movie.
And you put yourself in a bathing suit, so good for you.
Yes, I did. You should see my last movie that's on HBO Max. I'm literally pregnant in real time, and you will see me have a baby in real time.
Anything for Selena's art, right?
Oh, sacrifice
Ritesh,
it all.
that's right. Ritesh, this is such a movie that has many poignant moments to it, many even small moments that people may not realize are poignant at the time, but going back watching it, they feel like it. And there's moments I'm sure that stand out for you aesthetically too, because you've gotten to do maybe even something you've never done on screen, things like that. Diving was incredible too. Is there a scene though that you're most proud of, either the work you put into emotionally, or when you're watched it back, you're like, man, Selena and they know what they're talking about. They are great at this.
It's so hard to pick just one. When you do indie filmmaking, like everything is an uphill battle. And I have to say, we had an incredible team from A to Z, in front of the camera, behind the camera, Selena and Dan. Just everyone was there to play ball and make this incredible movie. I I don't know. People are gonna watch this movie and hopefully be blown away, but we did do this movie on a budget, and what was accomplished here is something that very rarely, almost never, ever, ever happens. Ever. We have an independent movie coming out in 200 theaters nationally on Valentine's Day weekend, and listen, I've worked on projects that cost $1. I've worked on projects that cost $100 million. And I'm telling you, at the end of the day, what it takes is belief in yourself, just an unforgiving amount of dedication and tenacity and energy, and Selena and Dan brought that to the table, and it's infectious, and it's infected everybody that's on the team. And that's why we're here today, even with you. So, I'm just really proud of everyone and what they brought to the table, and everyone is just able to showcase their artistry at their highest level and really be dedicated to the craft of telling this story. And I think that shows.
Selena, is there a scene where you and Dan are most proud of came from script to screen?
Yeah, so actually my proudest moment is actually, so there's a scene that's like right before the last scene, which is the scene on the steps, and that was actually a rewrite. So what was interesting was that we had finished the movie and we watched it and we were like, this is a good movie. But we're really missing a piece. And we had to really sit down and think about like why does it feel like something is missing? And the other thing that's really funny about this is that I was actually already pregnant, again, when we like had this moment. So it was like, oh my God, we need to do this reshoot right now because I'm going to start showing. And so we like really sat down and like analyzed what we felt we needed, and we rewrote that scene, which was a reshoot. And it's been so incredible to see like how many people have come up to me after screenings and at the premieres, just like quoting different moments in that scene. But that scene to me is like just such an honest, authentic depiction of what it means for these two people to go on this journey and how it kind of wraps together at the end in their, growth and understanding of each other. So that's my proudest moment.
That's a perfect segue into my next question. Is there an emotion or a message or something you hope lingers in particular with audiences that watch You, Me, and Her?
Yeah, so I mean, I will say for me, one of the things people are saying a lot, which has been super exciting and something that was really our intention from the get-go, is that people walk away and have a conversation that they haven't had. I think that, and it's not necessarily about a threesome. It's about how do we show up and get curious about our partners? Because I think that so much of what happens when you're with someone for a long time is that you start taking them for granted and you start making a lot of assumptions about each other. And you think that you know everything about this other person, and you stop giving them space to really show up for who they are and how they're growing and how they're changing. And so much of what this movie is tapping into that curiosity so that we can stay connected. And so many people have come out and been like, wow, after watching this movie, I'm having a conversation I've never had before. So thank you so much. And that's just like the dream.
I mean, I was surprised that Ash wasn't like aware of, he's literally asking his wife questions like, have you ever had these thoughts and things like that. These are conversations you would think that a couple who've been there maybe that long of a time would have had with each other at this point in their relationship. But the movie does encourage you to question your partner, find out things that maybe you don't know about them, show the effort maybe that they might be missing at this point because you've become so comfortable in this relationship. So I think that's a great part of You, Me, and Her as well.
Thank you. Thank you so much.